Hello there, how you doing? And welcome back. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit more different. This is Total War, and it's the mod for Napoleon. Now this mod is the Zulu Wars. So we're going to be doing the Battle of Isandlwana, where pretty much all the British got wiped out. There was, on the day, between 1700 and 1800 British against 20,000 Zulus. So what I've done here is kind of recreated what that would be. So we've got Chelmsford as the officer. He wasn't there on the day. It was Poolin was in charge of the camp. And we had 2 artillery and 1 rocket brigade. But I haven't got rockets for this, so I've just put in another artillery. And cavalry we had was led by Durnford. Now, on the day, I mean, this isn't very accurate of how this looks, but the camp was laid out in the front here. And this bit here was known as the saddle. And over here, leading off to Rorkes Drift, was Fugitive Drift, I believe. So I'm going to just sort of gather all the men here together and then move them into position here. Now the Zulus, they attacked in what was known as the Horns of the Buffalo. So you had a main force at the front and then 2 forces at the side to represent the horns, and then loins at the back of the head of the buffalo. And basically on the day they encircled round the back of Mount Isandlwana and cut off the British retreat. But we'll get into more details of that as we go on. Right, so I'm just going to gather all of these men together and just put them here. So at least they're all coming from one way. And I'm going to try and put them out this way. On the day, the British forces pretty much from where their camp was all lined up here with tents. I mean, they was having breakfast when the stand to went off, because a scout force went over this way looking for the Zulus and come across them, and as soon as the Zulus saw them, they committed. So that was how the battle started, and they pretty much come straight from this way to the camp, and the British were in like a sort of crescent moon around the camp here, but their lines were so thin and far stretched that you know, it was really their sort of downfall, because the other horn then came round the back. But I'll show you all of what happened there. So I'm going to get these artillery. Let's start the battle. I'm going to get them set over here. I can't spread them out any more than that, which is a bit annoying, but there you go. And I'll get them in just to rush to this area here. And Durnford's men we could actually have over here, and I'll set them to skirmish, so that way they'll keep out of the way, hopefully anyway. Now the rocket brigade, they got about as far as here, and then they were like overwhelmed by the Zulus and literally got about 1 round off. But we're just going to be using 3 artillery. They had 2 artillery on the day. It's a shame they're so close together. Let's spread them out a bit. Let's unlumber that one there. And we'll do the same for those 2 there. Okay. So I'm going to get these into a line along here. Now this version of the mod I'm using is a 3.0. There is a newer one, but for some reason it won't allow you to fire in ranks, which I think is a bit disappointing really. I need to hurry up here. Okay, well it looks like they're all firing, which is good. And we'll get these just to go in front of the artillery. We'll go 3 deep. Hopefully the artillery won't blast them to pieces as they run in front. And then we've got these last 2 here that we'll put along here. We'll go 2 deep with these. Now hopefully these will keep falling back. I won't be overwhelmed. So yeah, on the day, the camp was sort of that sort of shape, really. But this way I'm sort of trying to keep all the flanks covered. Let's put these here, actually. And this one here we'll bring over here. Let's turn up the sound a little bit. It looks like they're going to be attacking this flank first. I think these might be massing to then go around this side. I mean, really what happened on the day was this side failed, really. You know, they tried to keep holding the left horn back, but they were just outnumbered. And they had to come back because they were running out of ammunition. And then this, basically, then the horn then swept in. Bearing in mind these, you know, the British were in like a crescent, sort of round this way. And also, you know, there's sort of this myth about they were running low on ammunition and the quartermasters were being, you know, difficult in administrating more ammunition out to them. But they've sort of found from, you know, doing archaeological digs that they found plenty of, you know, ammo boxes along where the lines were. But they've sort of recreated the constant firing that it did, and because they were using like sort of the bullets were made of brass, they kept jamming because the guns were overheating, so they kept jamming the rifles, and in the end they were then left to fight hand-to-hand combat, and that's pretty much, you know, that on top of being overwhelmed, you know, didn't help. So these have been attacked here. I was hoping they would keep falling back, but they're just being overrun. Okay, so these are going to sweep round this way. I'm going to just pull these back like that there. We'll just move these like that. But there's a really good couple of YouTube videos that I've seen, and I'll leave the links that cover this battle and the Battle of Rorkes Drift, and they're probably the best documentaries that I've seen. And they sort of show that, you know, the battle, how it all went. But I think the detail is really good with how they look, you know. So if that blew your eardrums off, it gets louder the closer you are to them. So yeah, at the moment we're actually able to keep them back, but they go through the ammo so quick. Okay, so I'm going to get these to pull back this way. If they will. And I'm going to get them to come behind the men. But as you can see, now the right horn is coming round. But what happened with Rorkes Drift was, it was the reserves of the Zulus that went to Rorkes Drift because they didn't participate in this battle. And because they sort of basically went round Mount and then headed off towards the Rorkes Drift station. And they, you know, saw this myth about they picked up the guns on the dead bodies. That never happened. They pretty much had muskets, old brown besses, that sort of thing. You know, antiques really. Right, these are a little bit too close together. Let's spread these out. If I can. That'll do. In fact, let's get Chelmsford and we'll put him here in the centre. We'll line those out there. See, I think what I'm going to do now is pull these back a bit so we don't get cut off there. But as you can see, they're working their way around this side here now. But you know, the British did hold the Zulus back for quite a while. You know, once the fire was being laid down, but once they started getting their guns jammed. You know, it just became, you know, an impossibility really. They would be able to hold it much longer. And they had to start falling back, and once they could see other units falling back, it just, you know, set the rest of it in motion. But there's a story. There was a group of men that got up to the side of the mountain. And they were surrounded by the Zulus, and the Zulus sort of waited as the officer went round shaking the hands of his men before they then charged at the Zulus and were all massacred. But there was none left alive. There was no, you know, no surrendering or captives. But once they sort of got cut off, all the men trying to flee were then, you know, cut down. But I say, watch these two documentaries on YouTube that I'll leave a link for. Very fascinating, very interesting. But it's a great little mod, actually. I wish they would do you know, an actual campaign. They do have a campaign with this mod, but it's sort of set, you know, in sort of Africa. But I would like to see some sort of Zulu campaign. I'm sure someone eventually will do one. And what I'd love to see as well is a little unit that supplied the men. So if your men were in like a range, they could keep getting ammunition. Because it's the only way you're going to be able to beat the Zulus, because eventually my men are going to run out of ammo compared to how many Zulus there were. And because they're not high ranked, they're not the greatest of shots. So their morale's gone. There we go, these are coming in now. So they aren't able to stop them coming that much far in, because their morale just goes, because they just get obliterated. I mean, look at the amount of bodies that are just everywhere. I say there was, 20,000 Zulus. Let's see how these fare. These looks like their morale's quite high. They're routing. But we got this force about to sweep in, so it's going to be a bit tricky, I think. And we got this coming in this side here as well. But these have got a bit of a bolster with the cavalry at this side. I don't know why these aren't firing. Oh, they're just slow. Let's see if we can do that. Canister shot. Actually, no, I think that would be better. But it was such a devastating defeat. It was the first massive defeat of a modern army against basically like a native force. So they're in trouble now. I should have taken off the skirmish. There we go. Let's get them back there. It's not looking good for our men though. If we form square here, we might be able to help them on the flank. Yeah, that force has gone. So they're falling back. I think we need to form square with these as well. They've gone into the charge. I think they're following the retreating force, but they're gonna get wiped. Let's see if we can pull them back without them routing. It's not looking good. No. So it's not looking good there. Okay, we need to pull these two over here. Let's get them there. They've gone. Let's move them back. Let's get you in front of the cannon. I think the ones in the back will keep firing. Oh, that wasn't very good. Jesus. Just took out a load of my men. Okay, I think we can recover from this. So we got more over here. There's some going around the back. Okay. I think we survived that okay.
Are you questioning my right to command?
Let's move these to this position here. No, we haven't got a great big force here now, so let's bring those along there for now.
Are you questioning my right?
I mean, mind you, they are really low on ammo, so it could be all over. Okay, so we'll do these as double lines. I think that should be enough. I love all the sound effects from the film Zulu. Right, we'll just move those into there. I think that's it. I think it's all over. I mean, these ones right over here coming round, which is what they did on the day. Eventually they'll just come round here and face this lot. And we got this here, which looks like that's like the officer in command. But it certainly didn't happen like this on the day, that's for sure. But I've tried to sort of have the right amount of men that would have been there on the day to get it a bit accurate. I think I was probably short by about 2,000 for the Zulus, which is nothing really. But there was 18,000 of them on this battlefield, which I think looks like, you know, that's what all the dead bodies are. But yeah, it looks like they're all retreating. Okay. So this was really just, you know, to show a friend of mine from the War of Rights Regiment, my 20th Georgia. He's a friend of mine called Gonzo. So this one's for you, mate. I just wanted to show you what this mod was all about. As you're a fan of Total War, I think you'll really like this. And they do have the map of Rorkes Drift, so you can actually recreate that one as well. Here we go. There we go. It's a victory for the British. And we'll have a look at what the stats were. So, yeah. So that's the amount of like Zulus that came on. And I mean, you know, I absolutely annihilated them all. And that's the amount I killed. 12,000 of them. and I deployed that. I mean, I could probably take another infantry unit out to get it a little bit more accurate, but yeah, I mean, lost quite a few, but I think that was the cavalry that we lost. So there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.